Every book has a moment before the page. A decision, a risk, a story worth telling. This is Authors After Action. Conversations with authors about the journey, the work, and the lessons learned along the way.
What if the secret to lowering your golf score wasn't talent, but math? Today on Authors After Action, our host Donald Dunn sits down with Bob Labbe. Bob Labbe is the author of Putting by the Numbers, where he reveals a powerful, physics-based approach to lag putting that golfers of any skill level can use to instantly improve their performance. No new equipment, no complicated changes, just a smarter way to putt. Bob, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, Bob? Welcome, man.
Oh, it's going very well, Donald. Thank you for having me. I appreciate your the opportunity here.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I love writing books, and I love the creativity side. So sometimes it takes me out of my comfort zone on the subject. So as we stated before, I'm definitely not a golfer, but I do like writing. So I think we're gonna have a good discussion.
Oh, that sounds good. So
why don't we dig into a little bit? What got you into golfing? Let's start there.
Well, my whole bio is that I was an engineer, graduated from Georgia Tech in 1968, got into the air pollution control business for industrial and utility power plants, learned my business from American Air Filter the first 5 years out of school, and started 3 air pollution control companies, selling each one of them and finalizing my air pollution control career in 2023. So I've been in the air pollution control business for 55 years. And during that period, what got me, I always loved golf. I watched playing golf with my dad back in the 60s, watching Arnie and Jack Nicklaus try to beat each other up every Sunday. And it was a lot of fun. But I tried, but back in the 50s and 60s, golf was pretty much a rich man's sport. Okay. Right. And we didn't have a lot of money, so it was kind of, we played football, basketball, and baseball, and those were the poor man's sports, and we loved those sports. Okay. Yep. So going on in my career, though, I had to hire a lot of salesmen throughout the United States. Most of them, 60% or more, played golf, and I had a condo in Destin, Florida, and we'd have our sales meetings down in Destin every year and have a golf tournament one day of the 4 or 5 day sales meeting. And I had created a lot of great friends in the sales group. And even though I couldn't play golf, I'm kind of a natural, kind of an athletic sort of person. So I just couldn't hit the ball well, but I could hit it. And I'd score 110 or 115 or 120 playing golf with them and, just not playing well. But I still loved the game. And a lot of my salesmen were either scratch golfers or low handicap golfers. So when my partner and I retired from our second company in 1996, he and I agreed that we were going to play golf together. And we went off to PGA schools. I went to Maggie Valley, North Carolina, got 4 days of lessons, and then played every 3 days a week and practiced 3 days a week. Within a year and a half, I became a pretty decent golfer, but my long distance putting was killing me. I was shooting in between 95, 98, 99, but I was having 40 to 44 putts in that total score. And so my putting was long distance putting was just awful. I was three putting the ball, 4 putting the ball, driving my score up. And I said to myself, hey, I'm an engineer. I should be able to figure out how to do this because, you get on the green, you're long distance from the hole. You can muscle up and hit it too far, or you can baby it and hit it too short. And I was doing both. And because of that was ending up with these 3 putts and sometimes 4. So it was just awful. So I was watching a tournament, and they were talking about the stimp meter. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the stimp meter,
I'm
but
not.
the stimp meter is the little mechanism they use for every pro golf tournament around the world to determine the speed of the green. And they'll tell you when you watch a PGA tournament, they'll tell you that the speed of the green today is 12, 13, sometimes as high as 14, which is very fast. So I thought to myself, well, Edward Stimpson, he was the inventor of the stimp meter back in 1935, okay, at Oakmont Golf Course at the U.S. Open. And that's 1930. I said, well, that tells you how far the ball will travel on the green. But it's a relative number. Those 12, 13, and 14 are just relative numbers. It tells you that they're fast.
Yeah.
The greens I play on as amateur are 10 or 11 or 12 at the very most. So I'm playing on slower greens. So I thought to myself, well, gosh, if you could, that's a qualitative method that Edward came up with. If I could figure out a quantitative method of being able to know how to hit the ball on that frictional surface, I could develop maybe something that would be repeatable. And so that's what I set out to do. And that started in 1997. And 25 years later, I wrote my book because it took me that long as an engineer to be sure what I was going to tell people was honest, and it had to be repeatable. It had to be linear. It had to be something that would work for everybody. And more importantly, it had to be simple. So I took notes as I played all those years. And I had a lot of friends telling me, Bob, you need to write a book about this because your putting is unbelievable. And that's kind of how it all got started.
Okay. Well, that's the amazing part of podcasting, authorship, is we get to use the things that we're passionate about and share them with the world. Just like in this particular situation, for me, it was storytelling and authorship and leadership and just podcasting in general. So, that was the route that I took. But it led me to my first book as well. And when I got to that point, I noticed really quick that writing a book isn't as straightforward as what people think. That reader's holding the book with no clue of the work that went behind the scenes to get it on the paper. When you first started, after all those years of research, and you first started your book, what were some of the things that shocked you about the writing process and how you were going to lay it out?
Well, as you say, the writing a book is not an easy task. Okay,
No,
it's a very difficult. But through my years in the air pollution control industry, I wrote many technical proposals. They were somewhere between 20 pages and 120 pages long. So I was a pretty good technical writer. Okay. And I thought that when I had all these, I had like 200 or 300 little notes in my golf bag that I put in my library about things I noted as I developed this method. Actually, it only took me from like 1997 to like 1999 to have the method that really worked for me. But then I had to be able to say, well, how am I going to deliver this method to everyone else in the world? And that was the real challenge is, hey, you take something that's engineering and scientific and you got to make it simple, because if it's not simple and you can't use it easily on the golf course, then it's no good. So I had to take this engineering physics and engineering mechanics, force and friction concept, and make it a simple arithmetic concept. That was the challenge. And that's what took me the years to do. So when as you say, when I sat down to write the book, I had the advantage of being a technical writer and had all these notes. And I had years of testing and retesting and verifying what I was doing. So when I got to the book, I knew I had something I could tell people that was honest and true and repeatable and something they could use, because I figured out an arithmetical way to do that. But then I said, well, how am I going to, how I did my book? I used all the pronouns: how, when, where, why, who. And those are kind of the titlings of each chapter of my book,
Okay.
because that helped me create the outline for what I was going to incorporate in each one of those chapters. And then I took all these notes I had taken and categorized them into each chapter. Okay. And I took little notes, and I wrote from those notes a page or two for the development of the beginning of each chapter. And that's how I developed my book. But it was, oh gosh, it took me over 3 months to write my book.
Yeah. And even in today's world, 3 months is still, you said it like it was a long time, but that's actually a really fast time to get a book from beginning to end wrote,
Yeah.
Did you go through a traditional publisher, or did you go through self-publication?
I did self-publication through
Okay.
Archway division of Simon Schuster. Okay.
Okay.
And they seemed to be the most creditable at the time to go through. And they helped me quite a lot to get the book out. And I was never, I'm nearly 82 years old. Okay. So I'm
Yeah.
not into the Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and YouTube, but I've become familiar with those names. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a social media gentleman that does my social media more. I just hired him. I have a publicist, and I have a literary agent that's promoting my book with all the big houses, the publishing houses. So, I've got people supporting me. So
Yeah.
it's been a real education the last 2 or 3 years I've been doing.
This episode is brought to you by Barracks Media, where your online presence becomes a real asset. Barracks Media builds professional websites for podcasters, creators, authors, and small businesses who are ready to be taken seriously. Not templates, not cookie-cutter pages, real platforms built to grow with you. Whether you're launching a podcast, promoting a book, or building a brand, your website should work as hard as you do. We design sites that convert listeners into followers and followers into clients. Visit barracksmedia.com and turn your idea into a home on the web.
And that right there is a little bit of gold that the listeners can take from that. That is the smartest way to do things. It truly is. If your goal is to reach people, you can do it self-publishing, but you need to split the chores up. And one person, the writer, and this is where a lot of young writers, because self-publishing has become so easy, there's so many one-off little sites that you can use. They don't let you know how hard it is to market it, how hard it is to write it. They don't talk to you about the Amazon categories and SEO and all that stuff that goes into play with it. And what you did was you still utilize the self-publication platforms without reducing your ability for reach. And that is my hat's off to you, because I think you're the first person I've had come on that has done this the correct way. So,
well, I was feeling in the dark, and I had the fortune of somebody grabbing my hand and showing me the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it is not easy. And for most people, that's the way they have to look at it. They look at it is do I go through traditional publishing and then lose a little bit of my rights and control over the project, or do I go self-publishing and lose the ability to reach millions and I'm stuck in this little platform of thousands, and it's because they're trying to do it all themselves. So that is the part that makes it real difficult. When you went through the editing process, right? I'm sure there was this process between you and your editor that went back and forth. What were some of the challenges that you had during the editing process?
Well, I actually went through two editing process. I have a professional writer friend who's been writing all his life, and he's in his late 70s now, and he's written a couple books himself. And I said, Mike, I said, I've got this book written now, but it needs polish. And you know how to write books, and you're a professional writer. Could you edit this book for me? So before I hired the editor at Archway to edit it again, I had Mike edit it first before I presented the manuscript to Archway for publication, and they went through a second editing process, which really, I mean, between the two, Mike did a fabulous job for me, and then Archway's editor put the final touches on it for me, and that made all the difference in the world because you got to have a great editor. I promise you that I learned that because I thought I wrote a great book.
This show is part of the Barracks Media Network, built by veterans, creators, and storytellers who believe stories change lives. Barracks Media produces podcasts, books, and digital content that amplify voices worth hearing. We help creators launch, grow, and monetize their message without losing their soul. If you've got a story in you, or a show in your head, go to barracksmedia.com and start building something that lasts.
But after these two editors polished it for me, it was incredibly better.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a lot of things that young authors don't realize is that there is two different types of editing. You have line editing, which is going line by line in your book and fixing grammar and flow and all the little things at a smaller molecular level. And then you got the developer editor that's just focused on the big side. How is this being presented to the reader? Does this make sense? Did we say something in chapter 10 that now contradicts chapter 2? And those two different types of it takes both. Those are two different types of people. Not every editor will do both types of editing. Some prefer just to do lines. Some don't want to deal with line editing. So again, you're like right on it. You say you're an amateur golfer, but you're definitely a professional writer. You're doing it right.
Well, you got to get lucky too, Donald. I mean, and I have been pretty lucky through my life. So I think I got good guidance and had a lot of good luck. And we republished this book with Bookhaven Literary, and my publicist and literary agent Gabby Garcia. She's taken and promoted me on this new platform, and we've been into book fairs all over the world now. We're on, of course, Amazon, all the social media stuff, and we're in bookstores throughout the country. At about 350 bookstores total. We've been in book fairs in Beijing and Shanghai and Frankfurt, New York, Philadelphia, Guadalajara, the Philippines. I mean, she has done a fabulous. Gabby Garcia, I'm not promoting her. I don't want anybody of her time taken away from what she's doing for me, but she's done a fabulous job for me.
Absolutely. And that, again, I think editors and publishers are all like doctors, right? Once you find that fit, you find the one that you like, you don't want to go anywhere else. You just quit looking because it everything else doesn't matter. If I find somebody that's $100 cheaper, I will stick and pay the $100 more with who I know, who I like, and everything else than just to go out there and try to save $100. That's where the business side of writing a book comes from. You have to be able to understand what is your ROI and the work that they're putting into it is the investment that you're getting back for your money, So
exactly.
I agree. And, the cool part too here is your topic, isn't, geo specific, right? you're not writing a topic that only Americans play, because golf is worldwide. You know,
It is. It
there
is.
probably is not a continent or country in the world that it doesn't have a golf course. So
I agree.
that is another awesome part for you, is because, like you just said, now you're going all over the world doing book fairs, not just focusing in the Northeast or Southeast of America. You know,
That's right.
you've got a much bigger audience in a
Yeah. Well,
topic that is massive.
yeah. Well, you know, in the United States, there are 30 million golfers. Worldwide, there's 300 million golfers.
Yeah.
And this is another thing that worked for my book, is because there's also 100 million miniature golfers worldwide. And you can actually use my putting method if you're going to go out with your date on a Saturday night to play miniature golf. And all you got to do is test that carpet they have out, what its frictional surface is, and then you'll know how hard to hit that ball. And then you can win every Saturday night.
That's it right there. And, you know, I remember as a kid, you know, miniature golf was a lot of fun. You know, I guess everybody has that family sport that is big to them. For us, it was bowling. You know, my dad did amateur bowling. I had a few scholarships from bowling, and you know, it was very big. So I mean, that was everything for us. You know, we traveled all over the place bowling, and I don't even know how many bowling balls I ended up with, you know, over the years. You know, but that same concept goes to play. You know, is you can take that topic, and there's a lot of engineering that can be done with bowling. I'm sure similar to with golfing, when we're talking about the lanes and the surface conditions and all that type of stuff.
Sure.
I don't know if your book's going to help me get around that clown with the big mouth, though. I mean,
I hear you. I hear you. Well, I think, you know, I think the key to becoming, and right now I have a 7 handicap, which for an 80-plus-year-old guy is pretty decent.
Yeah.
I never was a scratch golfer, but my putts, I had 30.5 putts per 18-hole round in 2025. And the pros are targeting 28 putts per round. I didn't get that low, but to have 30 and a half putts per round is pretty good putting for an amateur like me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
with your book, how is it that you're hoping that the reader can take your book and then improve their skill set as well?
Well, you know, I say, and I mean this sincerely, that whether you're a recreational golfer, an amateur golfer, or even a professional golfer, putting it's kind of axiomatic. If you're a great putter, you have a chance to be a great golfer. If you're great with the other 13 clubs, doesn't mean you can be a great golfer, because if you can't putt, you can't play.
Yeah.
And so putting represents as much as 50% of the game of golf. And so recognizing that and then making this quantitative method of putting so that anybody can do it if they have the ability to do a little simple arithmetic in their head, like going to the grocery store, you can do this. So what I did, in order to kind of make a fair argument to everybody that might want to pick up and read my book, first of all, you can go to my website, boblabbe.com or puttingbythenumbers.com. You can look at the website, look at my 2 tutorials. There's an 11-minute in-home practice video, and there's a 23-minute on-course practice video, okay? You don't even have to buy my book. You can look at those videos, study them, and say, hey, after you look at them, you say, could I do that? And if you say, hey, I think I could do that, then you pay $5 or $10 to buy my book, because the details are in the book, okay? Yeah. So, and then I tell everybody, look, once you buy my book, you read it, look at the videos, then to determine whether or not my method is going to be good for you. I want you to practice the method 3 times a week for 30 minutes for 6 weeks. And you can do that in your house, on the course, wherever you can practice. And after 6 weeks, I will guarantee you will know whether this method is for you, because you'll be able to develop your individual power factor, which is the rocking of the shoulders. You'll be able to know how much to retract your putter from the ball for various inches to make the travel distance go whatever it is. And you'll have quantified at the end of 6 weeks, and you'll develop the mechanics that I tell you in the book and on the video. So you're going to determine after 6 weeks, hey, I like this method. I'm going to do it. I can do this. And I tell people who pick up my book, if you use my method, you will improve your golf score 4 to 5 strokes, guaranteed. I improved my golf strokes almost 14 strokes around. I was 40 to 44 putts around. Now I'm at 30.5. And so I'm modest when I tell people 4 or 5 strokes. You can make it even better. And boy, that's a big part of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple things that you said there, and again, I'm no golfing expert, but I can understand when we say, if you can do everything else, if you're good with the other 13 clubs, but you can't putt, you're going to struggle and you're never going to be a great golfer. And that's, to me, that's the same. I'm a huge football fan or a boxing fan. And that same thing goes, if I play the first half great, but I can't do crap in the second half, it's not an all around team. I'm going to struggle. And we're just saying the same things here as well. You have to be complete. And the part with what you're talking about, you're now giving your readers the chance to, even before they even invest a dime, determine whether or not it's worth a dime, and
That's right.
Not too many things come with those kind of guarantees.
Yeah, that's true. And, I love people telling me, well, I picked up your I went to your website, I looked at your videos, and, I tried it for 3 weeks just from using your videos. And I thought I've had one, a guy I played a course with tell me this. He looked at my videos, practiced it for 2 or 3 weeks, and he decided that, hey, this could be for me. He seemed to be doing better at putting green. I've got neighbors in my subdivision. I've got 3 neighbors that have vastly improved their golf game because of my putting. And one guy I play with, he says, I'm doing the Labbe putt now. Okay. And so it's kind of a joke between us. But whether you buy the book or not, take a look at the videos and see if it's for you. You can learn enough from the videos to give it a try. And then if you like after you try it, then go buy the book and then you'll find out all the details.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me ask you this. Where, can you tell everybody again your website and where they can get these videos and purchase the book as well?
Sure. BobLabbe.com. That's Bob, LABBE.com. And puttingbythenumbers.com. Those are the 2 websites. And on those websites, Amazon will pop up, Barnes and Noble will pop up. You can, but you can buy it. I recommend everybody try to buy it from either Amazon or Barnes and Noble, because Amazon gives you free delivery if you're a Prime member, and so it's very, very cost effective. The book comes in ebook, softback, hardback, and audio. And so I had Steve Salgi, who's a professional narrator and an actor, narrate my book for me. And it's an hour and 27 minutes. And if you're stuck in traffic and you're in Atlanta, Georgia, you can put the thumb drive into your electronic device, and you can listen to the book on your way home. Okay. I mean, the audiobook have been really selling well, but also the 2 biggest sales for my book are ebook and audiobook. And then I've got pretty good sales in between as well.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And Yeah, if you're in Atlanta, you've got an hour and 27 minutes to listen to.
I know.
Like,
I lived there for 42 years. I live in St. Louis now, or outside of St. Louis. I've been here for 20 years. But yeah, Atlanta. My daughters still live down there. Matter of fact, I was just visiting with my daughter over this last few days.
yeah, my family's just south of Savannah, so and I'm here in Rolla. So what a coincidence. So
Is that right? I'll be
yeah,
darned. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm just south of you from St. Louis, and my kids and grandkids are all just outside Fort Stewart there in
Oh, is that right?
yep. So
Savannah area. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Matter of fact, my business partner, John Halligan, is from Savannah. And we used to travel down to Savannah for a lot of reasons, but the oh gosh, uh, the March 17th is the parade down there. I'm you know what
St.
I'm
Patty's
talking
Day.
about? St.
Yeah, St.
Patty's
Patty's.
Day parade, a great St. Patty's Day, Savannah and Savannah, Georgia.
Yep, where they turn the Green River greener.
That's true. That's a true statement. Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, St. Louis has got a pretty good St. Patty's Day as well.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I will take Missouri weather over any Georgia summer any day of the week. That is for sure. So
I go along with you.
well, Bob, I appreciate you coming on the show. I had a great time, and again, it didn't take much to teach me anything about golf, but I learned quite a bit today. Uh, and I'm glad we got to talk about your book and the writing and the success that you're having. For everybody out there that's a listener, I know most of you guys are veterans, and golfing is a huge military event. With all the officers we got out there, it has to be. So you make sure that when you go purchase this book, not if, but when you go purchase this book, because I know all y'all are ready to go do it now. Make sure when you're done reading it, leave him a review. That's the one thing that a lot of readers seem to forget, and the reviews help people tremendously. So go to his website. All the links are going to be down here in the bottom for you. Super simple. Left click and you're there. And check out his videos and then purchase the book. And I think your scores and your handicaps are going to become a lot better than you ever thought. And you're not going to do it any cheaper than the cost of a book and a few free videos. So take advantage of it. Y'all take care, be safe, and we will catch y'all next time.
You've been listening to Authors After Action, a podcast from the Barracks Media Network. Thanks to our guest for sharing their story, and thank you for listening. You can explore more conversations like this across the Barracks Media Network. We'll see you next time.